We say this all the time. You date the house, but you marry the town.
And sometimes that marriage comes with expenses you didn't see on the first date, like property taxes, water bills, and surprise assessments that show up long after closing.
Most buyers focus on the kitchen, the yard, and the schools, which all matter. But very few people stop to ask how well a town is actually structured to protect the homeowners financially.
So today, we're breaking down two Northern Illinois communities, Huntley and Algonquin, and why they're positioned a little differently than many surrounding towns.
This isn't about which town is better, it's about understanding structural resilience, how a town absorbs rising costs without passing everything on to the homeowners. Let's start with Huntley. If Huntley were an investment, it would be a growth oriented strategy.
Translation: warehouses, big ones.
Yes, logistics, manufacturing, food production, healthcare. Huntley has deliberately used its I 90 access to build a large commercial and industrial tax base. Here's a key data point. In its 2025 budget, the Village of Huntley actually reduced total expenditures by about 13% compared to the prior year.
Which sounds almost impossible these days.
It's not because they cut services, it's because major capital projects wrapped up and spending normalized. But here's the homeowner impact. Because so much of Huntley's tax revenue comes from commercial properties, the village tax rate dropped by nearly 10% in 2024.
So if you're a homeowner, that means when values went up, which they did, the village portion of your tax bill didn't jump the way it does in towns that rely mostly on residential taxes.
Exactly. We call this the industrial shield. Large employers pay millions in taxes, but they don't use schools, libraries, or neighborhood roads the way residents do.
Now let's talk about something nobody asks about it in open house: water.
And they should. Huntley invested heavily in well number 13 and new water treatment plant, expanding long-term capacity.
The important part here is timing. Much of that cost is already absorbed, paid through reserves and planning, not kicked down the road.
Which means if you're buying in Huntley now, you're not buying into a town that still needs to build its core systems. They're already in place.
Now let's move to Algonquin. If Huntley is growth oriented, Algonquin is more like a mature blue chip strategy.
That maturity shows up clearly in their financial reserves. Many experts recommend municipalities keep about 3 months of operating expenses on hand. Algonquin maintains reserves closer to 60% of their annual operating revenue.
That's a serious safety net.
It means if there's an economic slowdown, delayed state funding, or unexpected repairs, the village doesn't have to immediately raise taxes or cut services.
And then there's the Longmeadow Parkway Bridge.
A decades-long bottleneck across the Fox River, now a modern 4-lane bridge.
Originally, the plan included tolls. Instead, the village, county, and state worked together to eliminate them entirely.
For commuters, that's real money saved every year. Not just tolls, but time and fuel.
That's what we call a direct homeowner dividend, infrastructure that reduces ongoing household costs.
And importantly, Algonquin is now pairing that infrastructure with new corporate and employment growth, diversifying beyond just retail. Now, here's where buyers get tripped up.
You see a house a few miles away with a lower list price and think you're saving money.
But then you open the tax bill, and there it is, SSAs, special service areas.
We've seen SSA fees from $1,500 to $2,000 per year. That's like a hidden mortgage payment, and it doesn't build equity.
In many cases, those fees exist because infrastructure wasn't paid for upfront. The homeowners are financing roads and utilities over time.
Towns like Huntley and Algonquin, because of their commercial revenue and reserves, generally avoid placing that burden on existing homeowners.
And when infrastructure ages, roads, bridges, utilities, towns without that financial cushion often have to ask residents for referendums just to keep up.
So, what should homeowners and buyers actually look for?
Structural resilience. In Huntley, protection comes through growth, expanding commercial revenue that subsidizes services. In Algonquin, protection comes through maturity, completed infrastructure, and strong reserves.
In both cases, homeowners aren't the only ones footing the bill.
So when you're evaluating a home, don't just ask about the roof and the furnace. Ask, how much does this town have in reserves? Who are the largest taxpayers? Is the infrastructure built or still being paid for?
If the answer to who pays the bills is mostly homeowners, that's worth a pause.
We've linked public budget documents for both Huntley and Algonquin below if you want to explore this further.
And if you live in either town, we'd love to hear your experience. Does it feel stable or are costs creeping up?
Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next update.